How old is your body? You're probably thinking that this is a trick question, while at the same time thinking the best way to answer would be by saying how old you are. How long we've been alive, however, and how old our body is are two very different questions. Our bodies are much younger due to the process of regeneration that occurs with one of the smallest units of our body, the cell. All cells are different. The cells that make up our eyes are different than the ones that make up our heart. Part of that difference includes their lifespan. While our liver cells live for 6 months, certain cells in our stomach live for only 24 minutes. In any case, cells never live longer than 6 months. This means our bodies are never older than about 180 days. The body's ability to regenerate depends on mitosis. Mitosis is the cell's ability to replace itself as it ages. When a cell senses that it's near the end of its life cycle, genes within its nucleus activate the mitosis process. When done correctly, the cell divides itself, creating a new healthy cell. The old cell dies, and the immune system disposes of the dead cell and its parts. As we age, our body's ability to regenerate and create healthy cells weakens, which is why we all eventually die. However, too often, our bodies become sick and weak at an accelerated rate. In order for a cell to properly go through a healthy mitosis cycle, it needs the right tools. Proper amounts of proteins, sugars, and fats are needed. This of course depends on how we eat. Our diets affect way more than the size of our waistlines. They also affect the health of new cells. Providing our bodies with insufficient amounts of nutrients is like asking a contractor to build a house only using cardboard, paper, and duct tape. They could probably build something, but it wouldn't be very structurally sound. The same is true with our cells. If our diets consist of unhealthy foods, we're setting our bodies up for failure. Any newly created cells will be weak and unhealthy. Fortunately, the body has several ways to take care of unhealthy cells. All cells contain a gene that activates a process known as apoptosis. This mechanism causes unhealthy cells to kill themselves off. Once the sick cell is gone, the surrounding cells choose a cell among them to go through mitosis and create a new healthy cell to replace the one that just died. This is an important mechanism because unhealthy cells produce toxins that harm nearby cells. Over time, neighboring cells grow sick and unhealthy as they become exposed to that toxicity. It's important to note, however, that apoptosis requires the right amount of nutrients so that the cell is able to activate this important defensive mechanism. If for some reason apoptosis isn't activated, the body has another defense. The healthy cells know that the sick cell has to be taken care of. The healthy cells will then send signals to the immune system to let them know that there is an unhealthy cell that is causing problems. These signals are so precise that they work like a GPS, letting the immune system know exactly where the unhealthy cell is. When immune cells arrive, they scan the cell to determine whether or not it's sick. Once the immune system determines that a cell is unhealthy, it then kills the cell. This is the same exact process the body uses to eradicate cancerous cells. However, just like other cells can grow sick, the immune system can become unhealthy and function incorrectly. One of the biggest reasons for this is stress. When we're under stress, our brain believes that we're in real danger. This causes the brain to redistribute energy to itself and the muscles. When this happens, it weakens our systems and organs within the body. One of the areas that's affected is the thymus. The thymus is located in the chest between the lungs and creates immune cells. When we're stressed, a hormone known as cortisol is released, which inhibits the thymus' ability to produce healthy immune cells. If we have prolonged periods of stress or are constantly experiencing stressful episodes, we're suffering from chronic stress. This has a very serious effect on the thymus' ability to create healthy immune cells. As a result, they're unable to detect damage in unhealthy cells when they scan them. The unhealthy cells end up staying, continuing to produce toxins and weakening the cells around them. With all this internal activity, wouldn't blood tests be able to spot if we're sick? Typically, the opposite occurs. Blood tests will likely show us as being perfectly healthy. The reason is because your body does all that it can to make sure the blood stays as pure as possible. If unhealthy cells can't be eliminated, healthy cells absorb the toxins to keep them from going into the bloodstream. The cells understand that blood, which transports oxygen and nutrients to the entire body, needs to remain clean. Thus, cells will sacrifice themselves by taking on the impurities and toxicities of the sick cells for the sake of the rest of the body. This is meant to be a temporary fix. It's time that our body is buying us so that we can change habits or lifestyles that are damaging our bodies. If nothing changes, the surrounding cells will all become unhealthy and create more weak cells through mitosis. Eventually, the amount of unhealthy cells will outnumber the healthy ones. At this point, toxins find their way into the bloodstream and chronic illness is now full-blown. This is when we find out that we have diseases such as diabetes, immune disorders, kidney disease, cancer, and other chronic illnesses. The good news, however, is that the body can heal itself. As long as there are healthy cells still available, the body can recover from illness through eliminating unhealthy cells. To do so, the right environment and tools must be provided so that healthy cells can effectively go through mitosis and create new, healthy cells. 3 important steps to reversing damage and illness in the body are getting proper nutrition, good sleep, and handling stress. As mentioned earlier, the body needs the right nutrients. Each kind of food provides different kinds of nutrition which the body needs. Only eating tomatoes and lettuce as our vegetable intake isn't going to cut it. We need a variety of fruits, vegetables, beans, lean meats, and other wholesome foods. We should also be eating 5 small meals a day. Sleep is the time that your body detoxifies and renews itself, removing toxins, dead cells, viruses, and bacteria that have been eliminated by the immune system. Adults need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, while children need 9 to 10 hours. With the exception of genetic disorders, stress is the root cause of 98% of all chronic illnesses. All of phytotherapy's programs and protocols include addressing stress and alleviating the mind, allowing the body to focus on healing. Phytotherapy believes in providing the body the tools it needs to heal itself the way it was designed to. Through our programs and guidelines, we've been able to help many people improve their health in 6 months or less. Creating a healthier you is closer than you may think, as long as you take the proper steps to empower and enable your body.